Welcome to Out of the Blank.
Welcome to another episode of Out of the Blank podcast. It's Mike. Mike took some time from his busy schedule, his Funko collection, to join me today, and we actually might have some connection interruptions. So stand by. I don't know what. Welcome back, Mike.
Welcome, Robin. I was seeing what you guys don't know before we started recording. Like he froze about 10 times, and every time he froze, I started singing a song. I was like, Robin, where did you go? Robin, you just froze. Robin.
That was really good. I'm not gonna lie. That was a good rhyming mechanism. Don't start an album though, because we don't need any more. The era of mixtapes died. It seemed like there's a lot
love mixtape. Okay,
no, I don't mean legit mixtapes. I mean literally there was an era where people were just like Amazon was selling home studios to build your own beats, and then it just seemed like everybody dropped off.
Yeah. So remember, you don't remember because I was a 80s child, but like I was talking to somebody about this about a few weeks ago. So we made mixtapes, and you said mixtapes, and I had this this boom box, a Sony boom box that had like a double cassette. You know what cassettes are, Robbie?
Yeah, I know what cassettes are. You rind it back with a little
you
pencil or something.
With a pencil.
My parents are DJs, bro.
I know. So I had this Sony boombox, and so yeah, you listen to the radio and you record the songs off the radio. Except, I had to hit the record, the two buttons down at the same time. So in between every song, you have this like sound. So like every single song has this like dreaded sound, this click sound, and you had to try to record the songs and get the DJ as least talking as possible over the song, right? Because they always talk over the intro and the outro of the song.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I don't know.
You don't know what that's like. You've always had fucking iTunes and shit.
No, that's not true. I remember you
had your iPod.
You had to stick your phone up to the speaker of a computer, and then you had to record your song. Because I remember the songs I recorded in the beginning was Vanilla Ice, Ice Ice Baby. Then it was Johnny Be Good, and then it was the McDonald's rap. I think I still remember the rap.
I would love to hear this.
It's like, I need a double cheeseburger and hold the lettuce. Don't be front and son, no seeds on the bun. We'd be up in this drive-through, order for two. I got a craving for number 9 like my shoe. I could do the whole thing, but I'm not going to. But yeah, I remember that because that was one thing I learned at a young age, was that what I would do is I would listen to the song over again, but I would look up the lyrics version of it, and I would write this all down. And as I wrote it, I remembered it. So like, I know all the lyrics to Johnny Be Good. I know all the lyrics to Ice Ice Baby. I know all the lyrics to Self-Esteem by Offspring. I know all the lyrics to Kiss. That's just because, my dad was in a Kiss tribute band. So, I mean, I get it. So I don't know.
So it sounds like you're kind of like me, because I play music. I've been playing music since I was like 15 or 16 years old. But for whatever reason, like even in school, if I can relate studying or anything to music, it just helps me. It's like, how come I can remember, like 3,000 songs and know the lyrics to them when the song comes on. But like, man, if I'm trying to learn social studies or about, whatever, the Boston Tea Party or something, it's just like,
well, it made me think differently. Well, actually, I probably have a better fondness for education just from doing the show and things. But I think I also think about podcasting differently. Like I get some guests that will say like I should be responsible for the things that I say, even though I can list my show as comedy. But I get it. I mean, I understand it. Mostly because if you look at what the age of today is when it comes to digital media and just content creation, I mean, look at how many people do their work from home now. Look how many people do learning from home. So you now have this aspect of, you have an era where YouTube was something where people would look up things to find out how to change the oil in their car. Now you can go on YouTube and find a whole array of videos, and not just videos, but educational stuff. I mean, hell, half the time I'm looking up something about a topic I'm interested in, say the Cold War or something. I can talk to the expert, but also I can find a bunch of videos and just stories of things that I couldn't even believe. It's just defining what's real and what's not. I have a huge issue when it comes to the historical record. Like,
So
it's got to be right.
yeah, so I know you didn't want to bring this up, but like it is the thing, because I know you're like heavy in the JFK. I've been listening to all your podcasts lately, the JFK. How are you doing your research? All online, or are you
Documents.
going? That's what I'm. But where are you
Strictly
finding the documents?
The NSA, the CIA, the FBI, the archives of Harold Weisberg.
Online, right?
Yeah.
So imagine before internet, and you got into the JFK, rabbit hole. What would you do? Like, where would you go get the documents?
Got to go to the library.
Library. There you go.
The issue is that I'm only looking at the stuff they have online. Think about the number of documents they don't have online, and that's a lot.
Right. And would they have JFK documents at a public library?
I don't know. I never looked.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
I had to go to the library. I think it was like a month ago because we had no internet for 4 days. No internet. We said, hey, our modem's messed up. What is going on? So we called them. We let them know that, hey, what's going on with this thing? They said, we'll get there Sunday. It was fucking Wednesday when they said that.
Ooh.
I said, excuse me? They're like, no internet till Sunday. They show up. Turns out we decided no more cable. We're just going to use streaming services like most people do.
Yeah.
The guy snipped or unplugged whatever, and he unplugged our internet. So he left, and nobody was here when he did it. So then it was from a box outside. So the guy who comes and repairs, he goes, yeah, the guy must have been new. He took out your internet thing. And I'm like, what? And then this made me look into everything. My buddy is an HVAC technician. And he goes, a lot of what these companies do when we fix somebody's stuff, they're contracted by a certain company. And they'll say, like, when it's this expiration date or service date, what they'll do is they'll show up for their service thing. They'll mess something up and then say it needs to be paid and this part needs to be ordered, when really it's just unethical. But it's something you come across in a lot of businesses. Like, if you get your car changed, you get oil in your car. Do you know if they're really doing your oil or just letting it sit up and hang up at the top thing? That's the thing. It's why they have the doors. They have a small window from the front where you can see it, but a lot of the stuff is covered up. They say it's because the mechanics don't like peer pressure. Fuck off. No, it's not.
What? No. No. And you bring up a good point, because I just got my son's car fixed, and like, you bring it in for one thing, and they always stumble upon a second thing, sometimes a third thing. And the third thing doesn't really have to be fixed, but the second thing has to be fixed, right? They're like, hey, I know you brought it in for this, but we were getting to this and we found this other thing, and it has to be done. Oh, we also found this over here, but you really don't have to do that. So then, like, you feel obligated to be like, yeah, okay, just go ahead and fix it.
They guilt trip you.
No, they do.
Do you want your son to die?
And me and you have talked. Do you like your son to die?
His windshield wipers are like close to going through his window. It's like, what?
But me and you have talked about this in past podcasts before when we talked. It's to an extent, it's like almost like a sales pitch, and it has to do with how they present it to you. Because if they present it to you one way, they can absolutely talk you into doing anything. But if it's presented to you a different way, you can be like, I don't need that. Right? Because the guy can get on there and be like, hey, you really don't need to do this. I'm just going to point this out. But then the second guy would be like, hey, you really got to do this right now. You can't drive anymore.
Life is a sales pitch. Everything is a sale. Like, I went to go get my brakes checked because the JFK stuff. And they're like, I was like, hey, I'm like hearing a squeaking, and I just, just in case. And like, when I would pull up to us, it still does it now. I pull up to a stop, and as I'm stopping the car, it grinds. The brakes grind.
That's your brake pads, bro.
That's what I said. And I said, can you check them? They said, everything's fine. They said, everything's fine. Nobody else can hear the noise but me. And I go, fuck it. You know what? If I get in a car accident, I told you this months ago. I said, if I get in a car accident, it's not my fucking fault.
Yeah. You also told me if you disappear anytime soon, I might know why.
Yeah,
So yeah.
government maybe. I gotta
No,
find a
and like
different topic.
and look, like I said, I know you don't want to talk about it, but I have been like super, super interested in all of your experts, and not just JFK. You've had other experts on there and in other fields, but like, yeah, dude, I love listening to all that stuff. It's really opened up my mind a lot, and just to be, and once again, the whole point is to just make you think about things and to give you different perspectives and make and just give you and broaden your horizons, and your shows absolutely have done that for me. I love listening. Like you're probably, I tell you, I run on the treadmill like every day. It's
Jesus
out of the
Christ,
blank
the
Monday
compliments.
through Friday.
Oh
But
God,
before I'd have to throw in like, a Star Wars
yeah,
podcast
yeah.
or this. Nah, dude, dude, I skipped my Star Wars podcast this week and I listened to like your show. Yeah.
Thanks for the compliment. That's kind of gross. I'm gonna edit all that out.
Awesome.
But I was thinking about the Star Wars thing because there's something always you mentioned about relating Star Wars to real life. And I just
Absolutely.
started realizing I think it's easier because it's influenced society so much. Like there was some like the other day this person came up to me and they were like, messing around, but you know how like to go to massage your neck or whatever. I was
Yeah.
at my work. It was a coworker, and they grabbed right here like one of those death grip things, and he squeezed, and like you just saw me go like that, and some random person goes, "Oh, like the Vulcan death grip," and I'm just like,
Yeah.
"That's fucking Star Trek." And
It's
you,
the Vulcan neck pinch, but yeah,
yeah,
it's
but that's
fine.
that's just. I mean, how many space podcasts have I done where everyone's like, "Yeah, it's gonna be like Star Wars or Star Trek or all this," and I'm like, "Holy shit!" Like, I don't know. I just start going, "What movie would you want to be reality?" Don't say Star Wars.
Oh, come on. You've actually been talking about it. I mean, easily Back to the Future. If we had a time machine and we could go anywhere, because you've been asking everybody on your show, if you could travel in time, where would you want to go? Right. So, and I've been thinking about that. Like, if I had a DeLorean and I could travel anywhere, anytime, like, where would you go? It's a crazy question. I've actually been thinking about that, and I haven't like really like pinpointed something except like, well, I guess I would have to go back to 1977 before like when Star Wars was being made, right?
It's
So I could
some
witness it.
Well, it's something I've been thinking about, which is when I had someone when I was in the transhumanism topics, and someone mentioned me that politics kind of controls everything in that aspect. And it's like, why does politics talk about like you realize it's linked in with climate change, it's linked in with every single major.
Everything.
So
Yeah.
you can fight that argument on everything, though. I could say time is linked in with every single thing. I mean, time is linked. You can go talk about the climate. Was it better at a different time? Was it that? Was technology better? Was social media better? Was stress, anxiety, all these things? It's all linked with time. But what's time? There's a whole category in study called the temporal experience, and it's the way that we perceive time. Everyone perceives time relatively the same. But what I notice, and I bring up with my ADHD, is that when I burn off a lot of my energy, time slows down. And it's my experience of time. It doesn't mean time is physically slowing down. It means, but part of our temporal experience is also in our spatial recognition. And that's just like blew me away. I was like, fuck. So it's like, what do people with like severe mental disorders, their distortion on time? That's where they find studies about people with schizophrenia, people with this. And you just start going, we all might be living in the same world, have different thoughts, and have different realities, but that word of a different reality is different also. It's different time experiences. People that have fun, me and you chatting for, we talked 30 minutes off air basically, but it didn't feel like that. It was just quick. It was just a bunch of fun. And then what, now that it's recording, does time change because you're more focused in on one certain aspect? And you get into this land of like, okay, where do we go? How do we get there? Get me a DeLorean and Marty McFly.
Yeah, no, the mind just warped. And I was about to say that because I think time is different to everyone. You're right. If you're having fun, time flies. If you're bored, time is slow. However, time moves at the same speed no matter what, right? It moves at the same speed no matter what you're doing. If you're having fun, if you're being bored, whatever. So I think time is like a mind fuck. Like, seriously, it's a total mind fuck. Like I said, I worked this morning, right? Time flew by because I was busy, you know, and then if I'm driving home, yeah, it feels like it took like an hour to drive home, right? So I don't know. It's definitely odd. But you talk about like I say, you talk about like black holes and like other realities and this and that. I think you believe, right? Didn't you have people on that talk about black holes and stuff
When we're
where
recording
there is
this,
other
my next
realities?
well, when we're recording this, my next episode will be that space panel of mine.
See? Yeah.
I mean, do you? But I the question of other realities. I just say we don't fucking know. Like that's the thing. That's the hardest thing to come to grip. And it's not even that hard. It's relatively easy. But I think a lot of people will probably have a difficulty with it, which is just the fact that we don't know. Like a lot of people find scarcity or find like just fears in that, and I actually find comfort. I'm glad we don't know a lot of things.
I
I
mean,
think you can't.
do you know if we really landed on the moon? I know we're
Don't
talking, I
fucking
like,
talk about that.
no, look,
Don't.
I look, because
I'm
I don't
inviting
think
people to talk about
I don't think
Apollo
they did.
11, so I want to.
I
I
don't
want
think
to.
I don't think they did,
I
but
don't either.
okay, that's yeah, exactly. Like it's
I've
just
said
like,
it
okay,
multiple times, and people just
we're
like,
trying we're trying to beat the Russians, and we you stage the whole, yeah, the whole thing gets like staged. Like I don't even think we had the technology or the means to even land on the moon
well,
at that point.
you'll probably hear this in upcoming episodes before this recording comes out. But the question I say is that a lot of people like this idea of a Superman, but the
Yeah.
reality is that Superman smokes cigarettes.
Superman's my favorite superhero. So yeah, everyone wants a dude in a red cape that can fly. But yeah, more likely he's the bad Superman in Superman 3. I don't know if you remember the Christopher Reeves where Richard Pryor gives him the man-made kryptonite where he's missing the unknown ingredient, and he hands it to Superman and it turns him bad. Right? He gets the 5 o'clock shadow and everything. That's
Is that
probably
what
more the
is,
reality.
is that what makes somebody evil as a 5 o'clock shadow?
It was in the 80s.
This societal piece of shit. He doesn't want to shave. He wants to look kind of tired, but still ready to show up to work.
His suit, his Superman suit was darker, and he had a 5 o'clock shadow. And yeah, he ripped open the oil rig and the leaning tower, the with the leaning tower. Ah, what was that? What's the leaning tower?
Of Tower of Pisa.
Pisa. Yeah, he makes it straight
So I
in
was
the movie.
watching a movie that was based in the 70s, and I was like, I was half watching it, but I was like, what did they classify? Like, how did they make this seem like the 70s? Well, they brought back old cars, they brought back old styles of clothes, but to show that the dad was tired and was just had a rough night, what they would do in movies is they like make the tie loose around the neck, fucking one pant leg a little bit higher than the other, kind of sloshing out of the room, and I'm just like, it's really weird how like it if we did talk about another reality, how different that would be. I mean, I see people all the time that don't dress for success, don't wear a suit, but the way that we've classified suits means, oh, he must be a businessman. But you don't, I don't trust a car mechanic to wear a suit.
No, you wouldn't. He needs to be in his greasy overalls, right? And then you'll trust the car mechanic.
Overalls.
Yeah, right. In the
It's a
greasy.
jumpsuit.
What? Yeah,
They zip
jumpsuit.
it up in case they get oil on there.
Okay. Yeah,
Like, do
jumpsuit.
you trust a lumberjack if he doesn't have a beard? Answer that question.
Ooh, I don't think I would be able to. It's a good point. Yeah, I don't think I'd be able to trust a lumberjack without a beard.
That's like a perk of the job. You get the job, they hand you an axe, and you get to take that home. And that's why there's a slew of murders that happen.
I'll tell you what's funny, man, because the working from home and you talk about like people in business suits and stuff. I interviewed probably like 15 people in the past like couple months just to fill a position at my job. Was it one person, maybe two out of like 10 or 15 people even dressed up? Because all the interviews are done like through Zoom or Teams or whatever. And yeah, man, like nobody like dresses up for like job. It was like the strangest thing. Like no one dresses up for like job interviews. They're just like in their regular clothes.
Okay, well, that's a good question I could ask. What would be your weird aspects or issues with the way that society is? Not talking about anything super political or anything like that, but I mean like suits. when I was a kid, it was told you must dress for success, you must wear a suit to go to your job interviews, and that does not happen today. And honestly, I don't know why we ever accepted that as a fact. I don't know why we judge people on appearance, but that's what society has done. I mean, it's Step Brothers. The fucking lady says you showed up to a job interview in tuxes to a job that requires you to sell like shoes or furniture. Like, do you accept the salesman if he dresses up in a suit and wears like a fedora? I don't. I would maybe trust my crack dealer if I was buying crack from a guy in a suit and a fedora, but I don't trust a like that's the thing is like I work at a gym. We get interviews all the time. I see the kids that dress up with like a polo shirt and dress up in really nice clothes, and I go, "You play fucking lacrosse." But then I also go, okay, well, you're wearing a suit and all this to like a gym, like dress clothes to a gym. Like I wear board shorts every day. Like I love it. It's awesome. Even in winter, who cares? Because that's the town, but that's also you're in a gym. Nobody's expecting you to wear like a suit and a tie, but these things about society, you start realizing like we base some really dumb conclusions on a lot of old school style, like housewife myth type deals.
Hey man, I was driving home yesterday and there was a gentleman jogging in my neighborhood. He was jogging in his jeans. And like I drove by and I was like,
was he running from somebody?
no, he had his ear pods in and he was like exercise jogging in it. And I drove by him and I was like, jogging in tough skins? Who does that?
He definitely ate like a funnel cake and felt bad, so he had long hair. There's no way.
Ooh, speaking of funnel cakes, because here our state fair like just ended. Do they do the state fair and they do that stuff in Maryland?
I don't know. Nobody will go with me. My little nephew just got old enough to start doing like amusement. I think he's 4. I don't even think he's technically old enough. But I'm like, can I take him to amusement rides? My brother's like, why? I was like, cuz I want a damn excuse to go. And it just seems sad when you go by yourself. He's like, go get a girlfriend. I'm like, oh, it was that fucking easy.
It's funny you say
Nobody wants to talk JFK.
Especially a 4-year-old. He probably listen really well. But it's funny, like me and my fiance,
God, I'm the crazy uncle.
Right? You are. Me and my fiance, we went to a comedy show last weekend and we saw Chris Kattan. You know what that guy? That guy's playing comedy shows in like rundown theaters in bad parts of neighborhood in Indiana.
That's what Robin Williams did.
Yeah. So, but anyways, the guy, there was a gentleman sitting next to me, but there was an empty seat and he was just by himself. And I even mentioned something to my fiance. I was just like, I just wouldn't be able to like do something by myself. Like, I just wouldn't be able to go to the movies or to a comedy show, to a concert, I don't know. Like, I just have to be with somebody.
No, I'm not like that. I'll go to. I don't.
You're
care.
not like that?
No, I just at this point, I honestly, I'm afraid to go into public by myself because I might get shot. I'm joking. But just so everyone knows, it's on record. The government's watching. I'm kidding. No, but I went to go to a movie theater with a guy that I work with but guy that comes to my gym. He's way older than me, way older than my brother is. But he was like, "You want to go see Thor: Love and Thunder?" And I was like, "Yeah, what the fuck?" Like,
oh, it was good. Me and my fiance loved it. Some people hated it, but I really liked it.
I sat way too close to the front of the screen. I was in the front row and everything's messed up. I have to rewatch it again on like a normal screen. I'm sorry. I couldn't because everything was so close together. Thor's one arm, I go, is his arm significantly bigger than his other? Because on the left side of the screen, his arm was like the fucking size of 4 heads. And then his right arm was like significantly only the size of 1 head. And then the guy I was with, his name's Greg. He just goes, hey, like we're up front. So obviously we're more towards one side of the screen than the other. So you're probably getting
looks bigger.
But yeah, I couldn't stop thinking about it. So the whole damn time in the movie, I'm like, did he just work out one fucking side of his arm the whole entire movie?
That's why I got to sit in the back. I like sitting in the back.
Every seat was filled up.
Well, don't they do the the reserved seating? Like that's what they do all now in my theaters. You have to pick your seats out.
Every seat was filled up for the time that we went. This was like the week of when it first came out. And that's the whole thing. Like, I rarely go to the movies. I would honestly like to go more. It's a lot of fun. And then
I love going to
they allow alcohol in the theater.
Yeah. And fun fact, at least at my theater, you don't even have to buy alcohol. You can just like go up to that line and get your popcorn because no one's like ever in it. And you can like just skip the line.
When I was reserving seats, the only seats left were the handicap seats. So I was like, I'm gonna get the handicap seats. And then the buddy's like, no, don't do that. Like, you can't do that. That's not
Yeah,
cool.
that's pretty shitty.
So what I did was I went up to the lady and I said, is there any rule or regulation that you guys have where I can't get a handicap seat? And they were like, well, no, you can get it if you need to. I'm like, are you handicapped? I'm like, no, but there's no seats available. So where am I going to sit? They go, well, if a handicapped person shows up, you have to give it up. I'm like, well, first of all, hang on a second. If I reserve the seat and I reserve the handicap spot and all the other handicap spots are open and someone chooses that seat, you're selling a ticket that's already been sold. So that's on you guys. Then it's just me looking like a piece of shit in front of the whole theater for not giving up my seat to a cripple.
Dude, it's come on, it's not about the money at that point, right? It's about
I would have gave it
core
up.
values.
Well,
right?
I would have gave it up, but that's what I'm saying is that there's not, they have a, like in my town at this one spot, especially where I go to get vape coils or something like that. Every parking spot in the front of that store, there's 6 of them, and they all are handicapped. And then you have to park all the way basically down the street because their parking is weird. And I go, okay, so there's a lot of people that just pull up and they go because right beside it is a physical wellness center. So they have all those spots reserved. But we don't have that many handicapped people in our town. So it's just like you have a bunch of spots that just never get used. So I just don't see the issue. Even like a cop said, you're not handicapped. Why are you in that spot? I'm like, do you see anybody? It's fucking middle of the day. There's one car in this parking lot. Like, they can just park beside me. He just goes, whatever. I'm just like, what? Judge me? I don't care. There's not that many like everybody's breaking legs or something around here. I don't get it. How do we have this aspect of things?
Oh, you unfroze.
Okay. Was I frozen the whole time?
Yeah.
Oh
No,
my
just
God.
for like 3 seconds.
I saw my camera like do a little glitch thing, and I was just like, wait a minute, do I have to repeat all? Did you hear what I said?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, the handicap spot.
You ran. There's not that many handicapped. Like, nobody's breaking their leg every day. I don't see. Let me sign your cast.
It's
You can
not
have
the
the
point.
parking spot.
But you got to keep in mind, man, there is like a bazillion people that have a handicap sticker tag and they're not handicapped. Like their mom or their grandma or their aunt, or you know what I'm saying? And then like they just use it.
Yeah.
So they're just as bad. So in my
Let
opinion,
them do it. You know why?
let them do it.
Because I found out every year they check to see if you're still disabled.
Okay.
That's the crazy thing. I had a guy at my work. He lost his leg in war, and he's like, dude. I'm like, dude, I'm sorry. Like, how did it? Like, I had to ask, how did it happen? And I didn't think that was an insensitive question. I just was curious. He's talking about serving, and he talked about getting an explosion, and I just go, well, how did it exactly happen? You stepped on an IED, whatever those things are called. His leg got blown off, and he goes, oh, don't be sad. You know why? I got paid, and I'm never gonna have to work for the rest of my life. And I'm like, good for you. But like, how do you get your benefits? Is it like payment? Like, what is it? Unemployment? And he goes, well, every year they check if my leg's still gone. I couldn't do it. I couldn't. That was too damn funny. They do that though. When they check if you're disabled, they check every year. They check to make sure that you're in. Sometimes it's monthly, depending on like if you have a disability, like an invisible illness, they have to check. Are you still like hurting? And it's just like, wow, like imagine that, like being the person that's stamping a paper. Did his leg grow back? Like that's a weird fucking question.
That's crazy. I've never I I didn't know that. I didn't know like they would do something like that.
The stories I hear at 5 o'clock in the morning at the gym are the best.
How many people are in the gym at like, well, I mean, 5 in the morning, is that when people are starting to come in?
They
Their
usually
morning
they're
workouts?
there before I go there right before the gym even opens. I'm there waiting in the parking lot, and there's a bunch of people waiting in the parking lot. People,
Really?
yeah, I get it though, because it's different hours, different folks, I guess. You got night shift people, you got people, and I like it. I mean, you're probably not a early morning workout guy. You're probably like a 10 a.m. workout guy.
Like I work out at lunchtime. Yeah. I like to get waken up a little bit, you know. I mean, I can do it. Like I said, if I wake up like at 6, I can work out by like 9 o'clock. That's probably allotted time for me. Yeah. And like I said, and even if I'm dead tired or I don't feel like working out, I told you, dude, I force myself to, because when I do, man, you just feel good. And then you feel, and you wake up. It makes your body feel, you got all those like endorphins and shit going off in your body, because now you're like Mr. Cardio. Because you're right. That's all I do is cardio. And now you've been Mr. Cardio too. So what it feels like. Feels good.
I wouldn't call it Mr. Cardio.
You run more than me.
Do 3 hours of cardio and I smoke a cigarette and then I get to my daily activities.
Okay, 3 hours. How many miles are you doing? How many calories are you burning? Like, that's insane.
At least 1,600. And then I try and only consume 300 that day.
300 calories?
Do you not see my collarbones?
Yeah, I can see.
I'm ripped, bro.
No, I know. You sent me some pic of your ass or on something, so I got to see that. That was awesome.
Wow, you put our private conversations on. I had a spot that I needed checked, and you checked it for me.
I did, and don't worry, he's completely 100%.
That's what I don't get. Why can't I put up my ass on social media, but women can all the time? And I got a lot of likes by it. And it's just, for people listening, it was a funny thing I did for a video where it was like, why is the world going to shit? And then it's me looking out the window and it's just, you see my bare
ass naked.
So you don't see anything but my ass. And it's just like, I got so many comments like, hey, nice, or like compliments. And then like, there were like the people that like I'm like really close friends with, like, you put that on social media? I'm like, you stare at women's ass all the time. And then someone was like, nobody puts their ass on Instagram. And I'm like, just type in butt on Instagram and you will be flooded with pictures.
Yeah, that's all. Like I said, I'm like, you already know me. Me and you are kind of in the same boat when it comes to social media. Dude, I do YouTube and I don't even do social media. I just can't do it. So I even give you props to doing one post a day and then I don't, like I said, I don't even do it.
You get happier.
Yeah. Dude, when I was doing the podcast, before I started doing YouTube, and I was doing all the social media, the multi-post a day, plug in the show, it's exhausting. It's exhausting, like, for real. And yeah, I'm so much happier, dude. My fiance, she's like huge on TikTok, loves it. So we were looking at our screen time. Number 2 screen time on her phone, TikTok. I mean, she's like obsessed with it. I don't know, man. She sends me videos and stuff all the time, and some of them are cute and funny, but like, I don't know, man. I just tend to stay away from social media.
I can't really be on my phone that much either. It's just my battery. My phone is old. It's an iPhone 7. And
wow.
Well, you got to think they make 2 iPhones every year, basically. But the battery health on it, when I checked it, because I was like, I want it to fucking explode in my face and give the government another reason to kill me. So I checked it and it said service warning, and I looked at it, was like, what it is. So like when it's 100%, if I unplug it from the charger right now, it'll drop from 100 to 99 to 98 to 97 to 96 to 95. And it'll do that until it hits 24%. And then it'll be like the phone's unlimited energy at that point. And it's just like, in a matter of a second, it drops down 1 battery percentage. And it does that for like the very first 30 minutes. It'll drop all the way to 24%. And then it'll stay like 24% for an hour, 2 hours. And I'm like, what the fuck is that? But that's how they do it. They downgrade your phone. They downgrade your computer. I have Windows 11 needing to be updated on this computer for almost a year now. I ain't updating it. What are you going to add to my computer? Cortana? I don't need my computer to talk to me. I don't need it.
Well, I was about to say that. Wait a minute. Can you even update your iPhone 7? Like, does it even allow it?
It updates all the fucking time. It's listening to me. I know that for a fact.
No, but you know what I'm saying? Because at a certain point, they're just like, hey, you have to get a newer iPhone or the updates won't work no more. Right? They do that shit.
Well, the apps, they update to a thing that only uses a certain code. And the weird regulations for their updating, they say it's to make your phone better, but it's really to stop hackers from getting into it. But the issue is that when
security.
Well, that's what they say, but that's not true. They also add a bunch of things in their terms. And I've been reading every terms and services, and they add a lot of shit that's not supposed to be in there.
Interesting. Because like I said, the reason you get so many updates is because of the security issues they constantly have. So they got to keep upgrading. They got to keep fixing the security.
It's a lie. It's a sales pitch.
Wow. once again, like you said, man, if you just believe everything that is thrown in your face, I mean,
If I give,
right?
if you could get ask, you can ask me any question. You can either ask me any question, and also another question would be, you can also find out one answer to anything that you want to know the answer to.
Well, I already know you'd want to know who killed JFK. So
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't find that out.
you would want to know.
We don't know. Nobody knows.
You would want, no, I'm just saying, if you had a magic
I'm asking
genie
you,
bottle, like,
what would you want to know about the universe if you could pick one answer to the universe? Anything, any topic, anything, any dimension, doesn't matter.
how the universe was created.
That's a good question.
Like truthful, like, yeah, like how? Big Bang, like I said, Big
We already know
Bang,
the answer though. It was
the
God.
Big Bang.
Yeah.
You're funny. Because I just watched a cat documentary on Netflix, and they found, yeah, no, it was about fucking kitty cats, but there was one interesting thing in the documentary. You know, it was a bunch of cute
I'd
stuff.
love to see your browsing history compared to mine. I've been watching Shutter. I've been watching what 3 Mile Island nuclear explosion documentaries and fucking the Ted Bundy tapes.
No, hear me out. There was one section of the documentary. Like I said, the rest is really fluff about cat behaviors in this. One little section, they found the remains of an ancient cat that's like thousands and thousands. And they showed like the bones that they found, thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of years old before the Egyptians, before like the Egyptian times. So if you believe in God, and you believe in the Bible, right? The earth and the world and the universe is only so old, right? So once again, man, like I said, I'm more, I'm kind of, probably more on your boat. I like scientific, I like proof, I like stuff like, you already know, cold earth, fire earth, water earth. It's scientifically proven. Like the earth is like billions of years old, not whatever the Bible tells you, right? How old the earth is. So just in this little cat documentary, there's even, it even says, hey, we found these bones before Egyptian times. Right there tells you the earth isn't as old as what religion tells you. So I don't know. I grew up Catholic, man. I grew up Catholic, for
I
Christ's
know. I
sake.
said it. Sorry in a previous episode.
I grew up Catholic. So it got shoved down my throat. It's probably why I'm not religious now. It's because it got crammed down my throat.
You become religious if there was a woman involved.
Now,
Did you see that movie with Mark Wahlberg?
which one?
Oh God, what is it? Father Stew?
I have not. I've not seen it.
Dude, I was hammered and I watched that. That's a terrible movie to watch when you're drunk. Jesus Christ. It's like I just made bad decisions, and this whole movie's about how to become a priest and make nothing but good decisions. You feel like such a piece of shit. Dude, I was watching it. I literally turned to my buddy when we were watching it. I was out of my mind. And I looked at him, I go, "What the fuck did you watch?" And he goes, well, this movie's pretty controversial. It actually is very controversial for Mel Gibson's career. I was like, how? He beat up a Jew in a restaurant.
I almost forgot your obsession with Mel Gibson.
I fucking love Mel Gibson.
And M. Night Shyamalan movies
I
and
do.
Mel Gibson.
Yeah.
No, you have like,
you really know me.
You brought up, no, I just listened to one of your episodes, like yes, you brought up The Village, like to the what's his name. You're just like, yeah, it's like that movie The Village, when they're all in the woods and they think like this is the only way of life, and it's like old times. Yeah.
Well, it's not only you listen to my episodes, you've also known me for almost 4 years.
No, I was telling you about that, man. I knew you since you were 21. I think that's when I met you. So yeah, it's crazy.
Did you like my descent into madness?
No, I love it. Once again, man, like I'm glad I got to talk to you a little bit, because and that I'm on the podcast, because I thought, now I know you had the Power Ranger guy on in the midst of all the JFK stuff, but like you've really have had like a niche recently, and I'm just like, oh man, is he gonna stop doing like the conversations? Is this the new out of the blank? Is this the new out of the blank? The Conspiracy Out of the Blank podcast with your host, Robbie.
Well, it's not that many conspiracy episodes. And I'm tired of the word fucking conspiracy. It's not a conspiracy.
Listen, I've listened to all of them, right? That is a true word. Right? What the guy say, the definition of it was one of your experts. Yeah. Like it's a legit word. Like, right, it's not like for people that are like crazy and like, right, it's like a legit word that's used in reports, that is used in in a court that is right. See, I learned all this stuff, man. Listen to your podcast. Well, more educated on conspiracies and JFK and dude, I can't wait till you go into Robert Kennedy. That should be the next. That is a good segue, right, from JFK to Robert Kennedy.
I wouldn't hold your
So,
breath on that one.
oh, I was actually look. You mentioned it that
I
you
know.
might look into it.
I talk a little bit about it off here, but I emailed him. He's a little bit got a lot of stuff going on. And I can't ask a question that wouldn't be Kennedy focused, and he doesn't really want to talk about that. So that's fine. But he wants to talk about
No,
let's talk about
I'm.
Wuhan. That's okay. You wrote a book on it. I mean, see, a lot of these things, like people think I have like an unrealistic grasp or I can get like insane guests. That is true. I've been lucky in a lot of aspects of getting guests, but I also just send a message like everybody else. It's not like I have some type of deep connection or value. I just say, hey, I'm going to give you my full time and respect, and that's the best I can give you.
But now you have the respect of the JFK community and these other no, because now they're recommending people for you, and they're going, hey, you can trust Robbie. Go ahead and do his podcast, right? Because you don't have an agenda. I've listened to your people because they think people have agendas and they have their own agendas. You don't have an agenda, right? So that's why they like talking to you.
I like talking to you too. I can learn a lot from your show. Your show shows me how many videos they can put Toby Maguire in, and it's still funny.
Hey, we're getting a little bit more diverse with the videos.
Why is
recently.
Steve in black and white?
Oh, not anymore. It was just a bit, right? It's just a bit we did.
Okay.
Yeah,
You need to start having guests
hey,
back on.
When you release, I cut it down to 2 videos a week now. It was 3, but man, yeah, when you're releasing 2 videos a week, it's like your podcast. You gotta think of stuff to do and ongoing things, ongoing jokes, et cetera, et cetera. It's entertainment. Like I already told you, you already know anything with me, podcast, YouTube. It's all entertainment. Like the last video, like, right, I just make myself disappear and then my brother makes me reappear. It's all, entertainment.
What would you do if you couldn't do the podcast? You could change it to something else. I only asked that because I might not be doing the show much longer.
You mean because I don't do podcasting anymore. So you're talking about like YouTube?
Yeah.
So, what would I do?
Well, like from the guests I've talked to and I'm putting them in a film, I thought maybe I would take a new avenue and take a break from the show and then just do strictly filmmaking with the connections that I have.
You're talking about you.
Yeah.
Are you talking about me? Are you asking me or are you asking you? Or did you answer the question you asked me?
I gave you an example so you could answer in your own. I do that a lot, don't I? Shit.
No, because I just recently listened to your show where you overtook your own show.
I did it again in this one too.
Literally. No, but not for like a couple minutes. It was an hour and a half and your guest got to talk for like 15 minutes and then like
that's a lie.
50 minutes. It's not a lie.
The time stamp for him.
Like
he talked 45. I talked
all right.
Close to an hour.
Okay.
I did. I have the Audacity time record thing.
Anyways, okay, so I did the podcasting. I really love podcasting too. And I do miss doing it. But then I got into YouTube and reaction videos. So if I couldn't do the reaction videos, I guess what you're asking me is what would my creative outlet be? The easy answer is I'd probably go back to doing podcasting. But I don't know. I think if I would probably, in all seriousness, if I would take that time for YouTube and I wasn't doing podcasting or YouTube, I probably concentrated more on my music and I would probably get new recording software. I have really old, like a 4-track that you record on tape, like cassette tapes. But I would probably put my time and investment into my music. I would definitely do it because I have my buddy, Jim. He's waiting for me to call him and be like, hey man, come over and jam with me so we can just jam, and record music and stuff. So I would definitely put my concentration on my music. I love playing music, man. I miss playing music a lot.
Make me some soundtracks for my film.
Yeah.
I don't need you to sing. I just need guitar playing.
Okay.
I can't have your voice in it. It would just get me. It would make it for me. I couldn't watch my film at that point then.
I will give everyone a behind the scenes if they have seen Robbie's first movie. He did ask me because he asked everybody, to help him out make his first movie, and he reached out to me and he's like, "Mike, just record something." I don't even remember the instructions you gave me. You were like, record about talking about A, B, and C. So here's me. I record something about E, F, and G, and he gets it. He's like, "Mike, you didn't even do what I asked you to do," and I'm like, "I just use it." And you did.
You
And
sent me an hour recording, and that whole thing I used out of it was 2
That's
minutes,
awesome.
less
No, it
than
was
2
amazing.
minutes.
It was amazing what you used. It was really, really funny. Like what you used from it. And it wasn't an hour, but he's not lying. I literally probably sent him a half hour worth of me and my brother just being completely stupid. And he ended up using like 2 or 3 minutes of it. And it was like really funny.
I thought it was interesting to get a bunch of people who are actually experts in the fields that they were, like neuroscientists and all this, and a Freemason lodge leader, and have them talk about this film and relate it to what they are already experts in. And I did
That's what you asked me to do. I didn't do that.
I was like, give me some social commentary about the film. And you're like talking about pizza and talking about all these things and stuff that was obviously linked into your show. Where I was like, how do I do this? But I
No,
like that though.
I completely made up all that. No, I'm not lying to you. All that was like 30 minutes of like improv from me and my brother. We just because I told him, I said, Robbie wants us to do something for his movie. I said, I forget what it is. I said, but let's just like do something. And it was all improv. Yeah.
Do you prefer that? But I know you like to write scripts.
No, so that's the funny thing, right? So when I did my podcast, it was totally scripted. I totally wrote out the bits. I wrote out the topics. I wrote everything out. And everything was kind of like a TV show. Like it was like we have to do A, B, C, D, E, F, G. The YouTube, it's all improv. Totally, 100%. Nothing is planned. So we watch the video, and then me and my brother, we just do a bunch of stupid stuff. And then when I edit, I put something really stupid at the beginning, and then we'll have about 8 minutes of stuff, and I literally will only use 40 seconds of material. So I'll have 8 minutes of us fucking around, and I'll give you 40 seconds of it. And dude, it's so much fun. Like I said, it's honestly, instead of, man, you do the podcast, and we were recording an hour and a half, 2 hours, and then you have to edit 2 hours of material. And I would edit it down to like an hour. So doing the short YouTube videos, because our YouTube videos are like 2 or 3 minutes at most. And I do literally 5 seconds at the beginning and about 40 seconds at the end. So recording and doing it, it's a lot of fun. I actually like editing and putting together the stuff me and my brother are doing, and not the reaction, because I don't even care about the reaction at that point. To me, the juice of the channel is me and my brother. But YouTube analytics and YouTube statistics tell me otherwise, because everyone watches the reaction and doesn't watch, right, me and my brother after the reaction is done. So, like a majority of the people.
A lot of people like short videos, but I like long videos. I like podcasts are for Spotify. Podcasts are not for YouTube. But people like watching the video too, which makes it great because Spotify now has video.
You already know algorithms, right? This is beating in your head for YouTube. So when I first started doing reaction videos, we had like 7-8 minute videos, and only 2 minutes of it were being watched. So the goal, obviously, to get your YouTube video more seen, is you have to have a 50% retention rate when you're doing YouTube videos. So when I do 2-3 minute videos, hey man, I only need 1.5 minutes to be watched, and then I'm going to be put over the 50% retention rate, and YouTube will recommend my video more often. Now, it's kind of stupid. Like, you got to think about that stuff and the algorithms and stuff. But that's what I'm saying. Like, I care and I don't care, because what I care more about is just the shooting the shit with my brother, recording stuff, and then editing that. That's where
you seem like you care a lot. You seem like you care a lot.
Yeah, but I like the shorter.
It would help
videos.
if you cried a little bit. Get my views up a little bit.
I can do that.
Cry.
Well, what's fun?
Dig into your Catholic past and tell me all the hard.
What's fun is just doing completely random things and having videos like really make no sense. Them just being completely random. Like what we're talking about has nothing to do with like the video or this and that. We love doing it's like Andy Kaufman type stuff, you know. It's so right. I care. I really don't. If I'm being 1,000% honest with you, I don't care about the algorithms and this and that. What I care about is I get to spend time with my brother, and we have a lot of fun doing it. Right. So that's what really matters to me at the end of the day. So
When are you having
that's
another kid?
no, I'm not. Who? Oh, my
You got
brother. Oh,
no.
he's done.
When are you having another kid?
No, I can't have me. I can't have any kid. I can, but like I'm not. My fiance, she can't have any kids. So no more new kids for me. And I'm too old now.
Adopt.
No. Because so like I said, I'm newly engaged and everything, and my fiance's moved in with me. She has an 11-year-old son. So I kind of have a new
Get him into Star Wars.
Oh no, I did.
Convert him, you cult leader.
So he's never seen them, and we've watched 7 movies. So
in a row?
The last no, not in a row. We just watched The Force Awakens a couple days ago. He likes Star Wars. It's awesome. Yeah, I got him in Star Wars. So that's cool.
Dude, that Star Wars video game is 99% complete, and they haven't updated it to get me that 0.1%. It's so fucking annoying.
Okay. So if anyone out there knows Robbie personally, you might know he likes to play this game called Star Wars Lego.
All of them.
And
all the Lego games.
He has to get the 100% on the game. Because it so finding all the hidden the thingamajiggers, finding all the hidden things, collecting all the coins that you got to collect per level and all that. There's all this stuff that you have to do. And like, yeah, dude, you're like a stickler, man. Like we
are a wasteful society. People play one game, they beat it on easy, and they go, I'm going to buy another. I'm just like, no, fucking master it. Get really good at it, and then move on to a different one when you get bored. But I don't have time for video games in general. I haven't played my Xbox is so dusty. I have not turned it on, I think, in
so is my PlayStation 5, and I apologize if you don't have a PlayStation 5 yet, but mine's been collecting dust I just been so busy. I rarely have even played it. So my Star Wars Lego, oh man, I'm at like 2%. Like, yeah, I haven't even really played it. So I'll get through it. I love the Star Wars Lego games. But you have to get through it. Like, you have to play all the levels really quickly, then go back and really play the levels.
Or really complete it.
Yes, because then you can get to this section or get to this, because you need different types of like people to do certain things.
I can't play a game without 5 minutes before my brain goes, why are you being a lazy piece of shit, and start doing something more beneficial. And then it goes like to finding guests for a podcast, and then doing work or reading a book that happens to do with something I need to learn more about. And it's just like, Christ on a bike, man. Give me a break and let me play some damn Star Wars. I just want to sit in my underwear, drink, eat saltine crackers, and play Star Wars like it.
Yeah, and you need that. Like, once again, that's one of those I always talk about. It's just people need to like unwind, man. Everyone's so like wound up anymore. And sometimes, man, you just need to chill. And if it's playing Star Wars Lego, dude, give yourself that hour or 2 hours and just play some Star Wars Lego.
You just explained my neighborhood. My neighborhood is just people walking in the middle of the road like some ballsy motherfuckers when my car's coming by. Then they stop and stare at you, and you have to go into the grass a little bit to go around them. And I'm like, what is happening in society? The way it should be is I have a car, you move. But the way it's gone now is there's people from getting out of the bike lane and deciding I'm going to ride in the middle of the road because I'm as useful as a car is. Great. Wonderful.
Oh, I can't stand
Let me show you my brakes don't work, and we'll see where it goes from there.
No, you're so right. Like, what shifted? Like, is it the bike lanes? Because before, yeah, bike riders would be scared to death on the side of the road, right? They'd be like, they see, oh, I need to get as far. Like, yeah, now they just ride in the middle of the road. They don't care. They like stop traffic. Dude, it happens here, like in Indiana. And they have bike lanes like everywhere too. Like everywhere. Especially when you go to like downtown, of course, there's just bike lanes like everywhere. They like run the roads down there.
They make it safer down here. And I was like, well, why do they keep adding all these safety? And then I realized there's a lot of people that die down here every year. I mean, my town is I was on a podcast talking about like I was on a murder podcast, and we were talking about like events that happened, and like my town's a God damn it, what do I have to
Talking
say?
about like unexplained deaths or just
So my
like
town is a place that is historically has a horrible murder in it, and it was on 60 Minutes, and it was a long time ago when I was a little kid. What happened is my town is a beach town, so it's a tourist attraction. So we get people from it's Maryland, Ocean City. We get people from
yeah.
New Jersey, we get people from Virginia, we get people from Delaware, Florida, Texas, Ohio, anything you can think of. People come here to travel. I don't know fucking why. It's a beach town, I guess. But a long time ago when I was little, and they played this in my government class in like ninth grade. It was nuts to watch it. You're like, what? This happened? My fucking parents work at one of the places where they did it. Hang on. So check this out. A couple came and on vacation, they decided a fun thing would be to lure another couple. And what they did with this lured another couple, they chopped the body parts up and started dropping them all around town. And the club where they met is where my parents work. So it's like, holy shit. I was a kid. I was like, oh, yeah, that's where my parents work. Everyone's like, oh, this is like a horrible murder scenario, right? I'm like, what? And then and I started looking into the amount of deaths. We have a lot of deaths here, a lot. And a lot of them are right now. I met Michael Jordan's brother.
Oh, that's cool.
Well, Michael Jordan, yeah. So apparently, this guy comes into my gym. Last name's Jordan. That's whatever. I talked to him. I was like, "Hey, you're related to the basketball player," and like as a joke. And he goes, that's my brother." I'm like, "What?"
Like for real?
That's what I said. I was like, "What?" And he goes, every year he comes down to do the fishing tournament that you guys have." And I go, "Yeah, he does do that because every year he comes down and tries to bet people a shit ton of money." And I go,
He's a massive gambler.
He's
Yeah.
he also owns a boat down here, and there's pictures all over social media. I think this week and last week of him at this fishing tournament. The White Marlin Opening is what they call it. And he's been betting people. And he goes, yeah, he goes, I'm just getting a break from him. I'm like, what is it like to be like Mike Jordan's brother, like Space Jam? He goes, I'm his older brother. How do you think that feels? And I'm like, what? And he's like, people don't really know about me. And I'm like, oh shit. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to like hit a trigger. He goes, hey, he just got on my nerves. I had to get some space and decided to come here to work out. And I give him his day pass and everything. And I'm like, why do you need space from your brother if you're on family vacation with him or whatever? And he goes, because all he does is trying to bet people right now. Like we were on a boat and he was talking about, I could bet you I could swim from this island to that island before you could. And he's like, there's stakes. I'm like, wait, can I say I'll bet you $80 million I can run faster than you? And then I don't have the 80 million to back it up, so I gotta win, but I could easily get paid, son.
So yeah, so in that Bulls documentary, was it The Last Dance? Like it came out, dude. Like he's like he gambles on like everything. Like he would do it like in the locker rooms, like when he was on the Chicago Bulls, like in the back, like in the locker. Yeah, it was nuts. Like he's got like a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most athletes have a compulsive disorder. Most weightlifters have a body image disorder. Um, Elvis had a huge issue with wanting to be very, very connected and secretive. I didn't realize that when I started looking in, like there's a president that gave, or Elvis gave, I think it was Hoover, or he gave someone in the administration in the White House a gun and gave him a bunch of bullets as a gift, just because that's Elvis. He carried a lot of guns. There's people that have stories of this is Elvis's gun. This is this. He just carried a lot of weapons. And I get it. Some people have like, they collect like cards or they collect, trophy helmets, but some people collect guns. And Elvis was this guy that liked having his own things that could relate to his personality. And those were guns. Those were really weird objects, bullets. I mean, I think there's plenty of stories of, oh yeah, Steve Martin has the best story. He met Elvis backstage, and Elvis comes over and goes, hey man, want to check out my guns? And he hands him a gun and then hands him these bullets. And he's like, hold these real quick. And he shows out another gun and does like a little, like, his little suave thing that he does. And Steve Martin's like, I'm talking to Elvis, and at the same time, I'm holding 6 bullets and a gun in my hand. Like, it's just weird scenarios, but it's like, I like that stuff about like famous people. I really do like these weird, even if they're an asshole. Like people said Robin Williams had a lot of problems. Man, Robin Williams, before he like died, he went to a gaming store, a board like gaming board thing, and bought a bunch of like elite packages of that game Warhammer and just left. He goes, where's your local bike shop? And then left and went to the bike shop. Now people say he was an inner nerd or whatever. I don't necessarily think that. I think he has a son, so he probably was buying things for his son. But it's like that. Like they're humans. Like when you look at like the idea of Superman smoking a cigarette, celebrities are the same thing. But people like I was going to have a guest on to talk about celebrity threats and analysis of threat. People send like hair to people, people send blood to people said I'd kill for you and send weird ass messages. Celebrities is a different thing. It's like billionaires. You're in a different status quo. When you start becoming more popular and you realize how many people will reach out to you only because they want something from you, dude, that plays a toll on your personality. That plays a toll on your mindset.
So, not to veer off a little bit, but my fiance told me something today about Daniel Radcliffe. So Daniel Radcliffe, he's the gentleman who plays Harry Potter. He wore the same exact outfit every time he went outside, so the paparazzi couldn't use his photos.
He wore
Think
what?
about it. The same outfit, the same shirt, the same pants, same sneakers. So every time he went out in public and he knew he was going to be like hassled by paparazzi, he wore the same exact outfit. And then that way it's hard to tell when the picture was taken, right? Because he's always in the same outfit. No, it's very smart. That was just like, wow, that's actually pretty clever. Yeah. So he's always in the same. I didn't even know that.
That's better than wearing the reflective gear so the pictures flash.
Oh, that's clever too. But it was really clever because that's probably why you don't see a lot of pictures with him.
I miss the era of cooter shots. It always used to be on magazines. You'd see like Britney Spears open legs, and then you'd see Brad Pitt open legs, and then you'd see Jennifer Aniston open legs, and then you see like Brad Pitt again open legs. I'm like, Jesus Christ, who's taking these photos? Why are you in that angle? Who opens up a car door and there's a cameraman down ready for a cooter shot? Like imagine rolling down the window. The coast is clear. You can get out of the car now. You get out of the car, they're all down there.
Yeah, but the problem with like celebrities, like even in the the United States, man, we put everyone puts them up on a pedestal, and they're like godlike figures.
They're giving vaccine advice.
No, and then people listen to them.
What
like
the fuck?
No, like they're. And that's kind of what's wrong with our society is like celebrities, dude, anybody like they have lots of power, and I don't know if they realize that when they come out and they say, oh, I'm an anti-vaxxer or I'm like this, man, dude, they're influencing like millions of people, possibly. But that's why you got to make up your own damn mind. Like, don't listen to Tom Hanks.
It was nice when Uncharted was out because everyone was like, you look like Tom Holland. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to grow this fucking mustache out.
I got to watch that. It's on Netflix now. I haven't watched that yet.
It's pretty good.
Watch that. Yeah. But yeah, man, celebrities have a lot of power.
What I noticed in Uncharted is if you look at the actors that they have, they're all around the same height. And the reason why they're all like 5'8", 5'7".
Because Tom Holland's short, Marky Mark's short too.
So every single person, even in the background, is around 5'8" and 5'7". So it looks normal in the film, but they don't have any tall people in there. And I was like, dude, does anybody else notice this? Like they just got a bunch of casted people that are all, and that's not the majority average height in our society. It's not 5'8". It's like 6 foot.
Yeah. I'm 6 foot. Yeah. It's like average.
And that's why in films, they grab big people and they grab someone who's like super muscular and have them next to a small person. So you have a bunch of like people. That's why if you ever see pictures of Arnold when he was at his jacked, and then you have him up pictures against Andre the Giant or the great Khali, they're huge to him. He looks like a normal person.
Yep. Yeah. That's why they do The Rock and Kevin Hart, right? You have like the big guy and the small guy.
Yeah, but you can tell.
Well, yeah.
Like Kevin Hart's not normal height. Like it's not like you don't make a whole movie where they're all The Rock size. There's not a whole bunch of people The Rock size.
If I send you the picture of Chris, Chris Kattan, I just saw him and I got to meet him.
I don't know who that is.
He's the guy from Night to Roxbury, not Will Ferrell, the other guy.
Oh shit, yeah.
So that's Chris Kattan, dude. Super. I look like a tower compared to him. Yeah, he's like super short, and I don't like Will Ferrell's like really really tall because Will Ferrell's taller than me. So So like you said, man, movie magic, right? Kind of makes, he doesn't look like a mountain next to him. But yeah, that's
That's
all
why
camera
Patrick
angles.
Swayze put lifts in his shoes.
Yeah, man, Patrick Swayze. It's the only, like Dirty Dancing. The guy's like 30 something, and you have to, yes, it has to be
I
like
bet he could show his ass and nobody would say anything.
well, probably if it was like 1988, yeah, no one would say anything, right?
Society's weird. We've gotten less clothes in public, but then we've gotten more clothes in movies.
Yeah, somebody I watched it was an article on like Yahoo or something, and the headline was, "Is this inappropriate for a public swimming pool?" And so I click on it. Yeah, it's just some girl. She has like a thong like bikini on, and like it really like it just shows you can just see her ass, and like everyone's in like regular bathing suits and stuff. But like, yeah, man, people like to show skin, man.
People want to show off how hard they work or how gifted they are,
Absolutely.
but then they don't like you looking.
Yeah. But man, like stuff like you do. So my son, Anakin, he's 19. He's been working out religiously now for about 2 months. And he has a trainer. It's actually my nephew, so it's his cousin. And dude, he's got the John Cena rock body. And my son, dude, 2 months, and he gets up at 5 in the morning. He's in the gym 3 times a week at 5:30 in the morning. He's on a restricted diet, eating certain foods, and yeah, man, he's got the results. And so now he went out. He just wears he wears like the wife beater shirts, and he's showing off his shoulders and his arms. He's getting ripped, but that takes dedication, man. Like it takes dedication, like what he's doing. It takes commitment.
Surprisingly easier if you just did it and then got over like the hard slumps of like the first 2 weeks. Like I always tell people like when they come in the gym and they go, "Yeah, I got to get back in here and all that." I'm like, I never stopped. Like that's the thing is like it's just like checking your phone in the morning. It just becomes a routine.
Routine. Yeah, you can't stop. Even with the cardio, you already know that you can't stop. I was sick, dude. I still got the sniffles and coughing. Just so, like I had this really bad cold for the past 2 weeks, and yeah, I didn't do any cardio for like 4 days, 5 days in a row, and I had to get back on it, even though I was still kind of sick. But like, yeah, man, just taking off those few extra days, it matters, man. Like it totally matters. Like you lose it. That's what I'm saying. You work so hard to get it, and you just lose it. Snap your finger.
Well, once you build up a foundation to it, because that's like a big conflict in a lot of the gym people's. Like I know trainers that go like, "Yeah, I worked so hard, and then it was all gone." And it's like you have to keep doing it for the rest of your life until you die. And you just realize it's like, oh no, you build a foundation, and once that foundation is set, it's so easy to get it back. Like it's relatively, you'll build it back faster. I actually had a guy in my he was one of the people that goes, "Have you ever like seen a movie with Tom Holland in it?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I get it all the time, dude." He was one of those guys. This was around when Spider-Man came out. He asked that question, but his name's Henry, and he comes into the gym, and I was, "Yeah, man, I haven't seen you in a couple months, man." He goes, "Yeah, I got back surgery, and I haven't been able to work out, so basically just lost everything." Man, it took him about 2 weeks, and he was back to getting, back to in ripped shape again. And it's just like, yeah, you had the foundation there before. He was jacked before, and he's getting there again. It's just keeping up that hassle and keeping up that time and stuff. It's like I tell people, you don't have to work out if you're not interested in it. But if you want to try it and you like it, then you should probably stick to it. Like that's a thing. I mean, anything you do, you can either half-ass it and do a shitty job at it, or you can put all your heart into it and try and do your best, and then it's a good job.
You already know, man. You have to be committed, and that's anything really. Like you have to commit yourself. You have to, and you're right. Like I said, I make it sound like I missed a couple days. I missed 4 days, and I got back on the treadmill, and I was like out of breath in 5 seconds. No, that's not how it is, man. You're right. I get on the treadmill after I haven't exercised in a week. I can still go the full speed I was doing. I get winded. I'll be more winded at the end of it, and like have to just build up just a little bit. But like you said, dude, it comes back really quickly. You
Wait till
know,
we all enter the digital world. There's a show called Upload. Have you ever heard of it?
How am I supposed to exercise in the digital world?
So here's the funny thing. In Upload, basically what happened, and this is nuts. So the only way you can upload to the digital world, it's like a place where people go when they die. So the only way that they can do it is that you have to be you basically you have to sacrifice yourself. So the way that the technology in society gone is called uploading yourself to this digital world. And one of the places called Lakeview Acres or something like that. And this guy, like he gets in a car accident and like they're gonna put him on life support. And before they do that, they go, we'll just upload him. So they stick his head under this thing and it vaporizes his head. So now he's just a body. And they upload you into this digital world where someone
Your
basically
subconscious gets uploaded.
your whole head your whole head is decapitated basically. It's just vaporized by this laser and then it's uploaded into the system where they store your memories. And here's the funny thing is there's an IT person in the real world that monitors at least 10 or 8 different what they call clients in this digital world, and these people are still alive. It's their memories, it's everything like this, but it's all in the digital world. And here's the fucking kicker. So you only get to be active, or it's all run by data memory. So you have, if you are rich, you get to live in Lakeview Manors, and there's like 10,000 floors in Lakeview Manors. You can have anything you want, food whenever you want it, water whenever you want it, anything, but it's all in-app purchases and it gets charged to your credit card, whoever's carrying on your account and keeping the payments going to keep your profile going. And if your family decides to cut it, they just freeze you. They put you on ice. You grayed out in the simulation and you no longer live anymore, but you still experience new memories. Experience new stuff. And one of the guys is in there. He's like, he gets down to the buffet. He's like, move, move, move. And he jumps into the thing. All the food's gone because at that time in that simulation, the food goes away because breakfast is over. And it gets clear. He goes, fuck. And he walks over to the machine and he grabs the fridge and he slams it 4 times and then hits the table and a bread roll pops up on the thing. He goes, hey, man, nice glitch. Where'd you find that out? And they're people that are no longer alive, but they're in the digital world and they're finding glitches to be able to hack the system to be able to survive and make their life easier. It's so good, dude. It's on Amazon. I think there's 2
Oh, this is a
seasons of it.
show.
Yes, it's so good.
Oh, okay. This is a show.
Because they
It's
make
called
like
Up.
they make upload and they make sex suits for people in the real world to go into the virtual world and have relations with their no longer alive loved one. And it's funny because the guy who did the hack on the bread roll thing, his friend is newly uploaded to the system, and that guy is dating his girlfriend's great 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 grandmother. So it's like her avatar that they used was a photo from like the Great Depression. So it's all black and white. So her avatar is black and white. They're like, how long has she been here? She's been here for 200. So it's like it's shit like that. It's really it's very interesting because you see the relationship between the real world and the digital world. And then there's a thing called the 2 gig era. And the 2 gig era are people that got uploaded like a child that died and their family couldn't afford to put them on the unlimited data floor plan. So after their 2 gigs run out, they just freeze. So they're like, make sure you don't blink, make sure you don't think super hard, make sure you don't do any of that uses data, just sit still. And it's like the worst conditions ever. And like and dude, it's nuts. And the one, I don't even know if I should say this part, but one dude comes in and he's butt ass naked, and they go, "What happened?" And they go, "Oh, he doesn't have enough data to afford clothes, so he's making he's taking the milk cartons that they have in the floor and he's trying to fold them into something." They go, "Oh, he's making clothes." No, he's not. And what he did was he didn't have enough data for them to load his crotch, so he made a fake like milk carton crotch. And it's like that's like a real thing when you enter the, like, I remember I was interested in transhumanism and AI for a really good brief amount of time. I'm still kind of interested into it.
No, I remember you talking about this, and the only human thing left is the fucking crotch.
Well, that was of recent, but when I actually got into these transhumanism discussions, I mean, it's a real thing where we start talking about the influence of technology into human capacity. And that's a scary thing. And it could be sci-fi if you have no knowledge about it. But
the idea of having it's kind of like cloning, right? If you had a clone of yourself where you could use them for like organ transplant or whatever, right?
that's real. I mean, I've talked to a scientist who talked about recloning people's organs to be able to make sure you could have a liver in a jar, and that liver can be yours anytime you want it. It wouldn't be like farming people where you have clones, you just wait to walk over with a knife and gut them.
So there's a movie, but like, yeah, think about it. If not everyone, everyone who could afford to make a clone of themselves, and then all the clones lived together in their own society, and then they just like disappeared, because they disappeared because they needed like a liver or whatever heart transplant.
Imagine if your clone was a terrorist. Imagine that though. If they have a clone and your clone gets to go live on a farm until one day you need something from them and you get to go harvest them like Wagyu. Imagine if that clone finds out that this is what's happening and they decide, I don't want this and I'm going to revolt, and they create what we would call, who are those anonymous people, the people that destroy like government shit. They
Yeah.
create that, and
Anonymous.
then now
Yeah.
you have a battle between, it's that movie with Paul Rudd where him and his clone are fighting over who gets to control his life.
Yeah, but you'd have to. Well, no, because I was going to say you'd have to track them or have a way to track them. But then what if the clone uprising, they found their trackers and they all removed them?
Jesus
Right?
Christ.
Think
This
about
is
it.
some
Yeah.
scary shit.
Think about it. People talk about AI uprising. What if there was a clone uprising? That's more believable because, like you said, we can basically clone people at
Well,
this point.
where do you think that society is going to go? You think it's going to go more the cloning route, or you think it's going to go more the digital route of like,
Probably more digital route, right?
well, where are we when we define digital, which aspect of it though? Are we talking
The
about
AI, no, the AI, no. I can totally. It's crazy because we have all the shows and the movies, and you have all this stuff. Westworld, it's one of my favorite shows. It's all about AI uprising, right? So I mean, I could totally see that before cloning, even though I think there's probably more beneficial uh factors in cloning than AI, but because I think, yeah, because dude, it's true. Like you talk about it all the time. Self-driving cars and assembly lines. There's no humans. For fuck's sake, there's a restaurant. It's called Steak. I don't know if you have Steak and Shakes in Maryland, but there's Steak and Shakes. They closed and they reopened. There's no humans in it. I mean, they're making the food, but like, no human takes your order. It's all computer generated. Like when you walk in the restaurant, there's like no human contact. None. It's crazy. So, and then you talk about AI, right? That's there you go, man. I'm telling you, like, and there's going to be AIs, and then people are going to make human. It's like they're going to make AIs that look like humans. Like you show me the video where the AI was just like responding to the other AI. Eventually, they're going to get so smart, even though they're computer programmed and made, a glitch or something's going to happen, and they're going to think freely. And I'm telling you, man, it's only going to take one of them, right? And then look out. It's true.
I don't think they'll. I don't know, because
I think so.
That's when I mentioned the episode that you're always mentioning right now is with Phil. But when I talked about Roman Yampolonsky, who studies the existential risk aspect of things, making an AI that just suggests stuff to you, it's not a bad idea, but we just got to be very careful. We have a really large problem right now in society with the unrealistic expectation that business has and a lot of actions that get passed throughout our political and our historical record. So I'm just about like, we need to figure out to make sure that but you see Zuckerberg's interview on Joe Rogan?
Mm-mm.
Holy shit, dude. That's trending. It's going to be trending for a long time. He goes, during the Hunter Biden laptop situation, and now the diary that of Biden's daughter talked about Biden taking showers naked with his daughter and all this type of stuff. Crazy, really weird shit. But the Biden laptop story, right?
No, dude, I am not into politics at all.
So during the election between Trump and Biden, and why people think what happened was there was a thing called Hunter Biden laptop, and this laptop was a bunch of horrible pictures of Hunter Biden that he was taking while he was on crack, basically. And he was with strippers and prostitutes, and it was given to like Russia, and Russia was using that as like a thing of like
Oh, this is what Trump was bringing up in the debates.
So that laptop was found in Delaware. That Delaware is right a state over from me. When this was trending, you probably remember me speaking about it briefly, but they were saying it was a conspiracy and it was a lie. No, it wasn't. But they tried to bury that information because nobody wanted Trump to be elected. That's fine. I don't care about that. I don't like the lying of information, but that laptop was real. And what they did was, if you tried to share that link on Facebook, if you tried to share that link anywhere, it wouldn't share, it wouldn't send, it wouldn't do any of that. But somehow a bunch of people on like WikiLeaks and all this leaked it out. Now, when Zuckerberg was on there, Joe Rogan asked him that question. Why did you make that laptop link not, because now it's real. Now it's trending everywhere. Go to Twitter and check what's trending. You'll see that, and you'll see the diary. And this is all shit Alex Jones said like 3 years ago, which is fucking nuts. Like I said, he gets some stuff right. You just can't listen to everything he says. Now, with the Biden laptop situation, when Joe Rogan asked Zuckerberg that question, why did you make that link unclickable, or you made it so people would get banned if they shared that link? And it that would have influenced decisions on people's choices of who they're going to vote for, whether you want to agree that that's the main thing, but it definitely would have skewed votes. And we know from data collection services that showing a bunch of ads of Hillary Clinton or whoever, whatever political party, is probably going to skew more people to vote for that person, especially undecided voters. If you show a bunch of good ads running in a field of wheat and saying you're going to save poor African kids, that's just going to happen because it's people's morals, values, and wanting to help, and they necessarily aren't informed. It's why people broadcast. It's why people pay for advertisements. It's why people do all these things to influence decisions. So, long story short, we get into the aspect of the laptop. And when Joe Rogan asked Zuckerberg about that, why did you make that link unclickable? What he said was, we were given instructions from the FBI that there's a bunch of Russian disinformation that is leaked onto the internet. So make sure that you lower it in your feeds. And that's what he did. And not only did they lower the feeds, they labeled it as disinformation. And it wasn't, it was true. Whether you agreed with it or not, it was true. And now it's all coming out. And that's a big trending thing because now you realize how much power Facebook has. The FBI, all these things, they go to every media outlet and let them know what exactly can and can't. I looked into the Hollywood influence of, or military influence into Hollywood. The number of movies, basically every movie has some type of Hollywood influence into it. Fast and Furious, Forrest Gump, Lone Survivor, some more extreme scenarios, but obviously there's controlling there. And I think that's really weird about our, like, just the way that we go. Where I watch movies about AI stuff, I watch future movies and we ask the question, does society influence movies or movies influence society? It's back and forth. And the issue is that if they make a movie about time travel, I guarantee you will have a lot more people pushing to study time travel and figure out what that is.
Sure. And, you bring the main point of everything you just said was that the FBI is controlling, right? Controlling like the physical media. And then they're controlling and they're working with Facebook. And like I said, I've listened to all your podcasts, and like you said, when you just live day-to-day life and you have the media, what's thrown in your face, and you want to believe it, right? You want to believe what the government tells you is true and what they're telling you and what the news media outlets are feeding you, and you want to think it's true. And then when you get that like small doubt, like you said, when you get that small doubt and you're just like, they did this, well, what else did they lie about? What else are they hiding? What else are they not telling us? Like, yeah, man, it just makes everything going, like, how long did they, I mean, we know, we've always kind of said, like, yeah, government, and they kind of control what's put out to us, and news outlets, because one's right wing, one's left wing, they control what's put out. Is it bigger than that? Obviously. And like I said, even going, the JFK stuff, but like you start looking at documents and the stuff that you've uncovered and just all this other stuff, and you're just going, wow, like the FBI, the CIA, they were working hand in hand with the newspapers, with the media, with all that. So now it's just transformed to the internet, right? So now they're working with Facebook and the Twitters and the this, and like, yeah, man, they're just showing us what they want to be shown, what they don't want to be shown, skewing it in ways, blurring it in ways, presenting it in ways, that they just want everybody to perceive everything. And then it's people like you, and then also a big group of people that like find the truth about some things. They're just like, wait a minute, how can the government do this? It makes you like rethink everything. It makes you rethink JFK, 9/11, the moon landing. It makes you rethink all of this stuff. Like, what has been told to us? What is the truth? And like I said, that's something you've been searching for. It's just like, look, we don't give a fuck who shot JF. We don't just tell us the truth. Like, what is going on? Like, just tell us the truth. And people deserve to know the truth, but they're just lied to. And they just take it and they believe it and they accept it. right? But and they don't care, right? And you're right, they just live their lives and they don't care. But like, man, there's more and more and more people that their eyes are opening up. And like I said, man, just digging into what you're digging into, like my eyes are just like, whoa, I live my life every day. I don't care about politics and this and that. But man, you really got my gears going and going, man, CIA, FBI, Dallas police. And look, you can branch that off. What other police departments are like this? Is this like this across all 50 states? What else is happening? What's happening in like local governments? What's happening with local police? And dude, this like, I'm telling you, man, when you get like an inkling of a doubt about things and about any government agency or even the police or whatever, it's just your mind starts to like explode. And you're just like, whoa, and you want to know like the truth, man. And we deserve to know the truth about things, and let people know the truth so they can make up their own goddamn minds and not try to brainwash us. Because that's all it is. It's just the media, the FBI, the CIA, everybody trying to brainwash us a certain way. And most people go along with it, right? Because they don't care.
You can't talk like that. That's how people get missing.
Hey, it's the truth, man. That's why I'm telling you, you got to make up your own goddamn mind, right?
You can't let it consume you though. It's like, how far do you want the rabbit hole to go? Like, you can go to a certain point. I just think I just want people to question more. That's it. That's all. I'm not saying you need to find out everything and tear up and riot society. Just question.
No. But you can't be a person that is so, look, I can bring this back to Star Wars, right? And it's just like, when it's funny because it's like Palpatine's argument. It's just like, you can't just narrowly view something and only believe in that. You've been trying to preach this the entire time you've been doing the podcast. You have to have an open mind. You have to listen to the opposition. You don't have to agree with the opposition, right? But you have to have an open mind and know that there's other opinions out there. And there could be possibly other scenarios that don't agree with yours that actually happened or didn't happen or happened differently.
Tell me the moon landing isn't real. Tell me.
It's not.
It's not.
It's not. I don't buy it. I don't know. Maybe it was, but I just don't buy it. I don't think we had the tech. I just don't think we had.
Well, how do you have the technology at one point and then lose the technology to be able to do it again?
They were trying to beat the Russians, man. That was it, dude.
I think when you look into the height of communism and how big of a fear it was to be, against Russia and how to not let Russia beat us at anything, it makes a lot more sense.
And like you said, Russia's government and why do you, like I said, dude, you open up, you make my brain like really, really think, because you wouldn't think your government would do this to its own like president or its own people or people of the United States. My government wouldn't do that. They'd look out for me. But like Russia's government, yeah, it's okay to be like, oh, they would do this to us, right? Russians would be, put us in harm's way. Dude, it makes sense. I'm telling you, dude. I'm telling you think your head's going. I'm telling you, got listeners like, even though I know we're buddies, but I listen to your show, dude. My gears are turning, man. I like it. I like hearing like different aspects of everything. So with anything, it just doesn't have to be JFK. It could be anything. So
as long as it makes you think.
Yeah, I mean, it just keeps it open, dude. And trust me, dude. I'm kind of stuck in my ways with things and this and that, but dude, I love hearing about different scenarios, different opinions, different documents, different this, different that. It just makes you think.
We totally got off one of the topics I wanted to talk about. State fair. I want to fucking go to the state fair.
Yeah, I went to the state fair this year. I haven't gone in a really long time, and I went to the Indiana State Fair this year.
Did you play skee ball?
I did not. I walked in some buildings and got an elephant ear. I got a tenderloin, dude. That was like the size of my head.
An elephant ear? What's that?
Elephant ear. It's an elephant ear. Well, Midwest people know what it is. It's basically a deep fried dough with cinnamon, sugar poured over, butter, and it's delicious. Funnel cake, elephant ears.
I would
probably know what I'm talking about.
I would love to go to like Universal Studios dude, I would love to go to Disney, but dude, I also that's one person I got to get on my show. I got to get some people to talk about Disney. The granddaughter of Walt Disney is trying to expose all the issues that are with Disney.
Really?
She's like has a thing called, what is it? Behind the Magic is her website. And it's about like exposing all the horrible corruption with all the employees and the labor rights. She's like fighting to get them like more rights and more thing, but like they're trying to keep her away. Like she went to I think the amusement park once and had a horrible, like a lot of things to say. And they were like, never fucking bring her back here. Like that's when you start realizing that your company in your father or your family's name is no longer your company. You're just a face, and the real company are the board of directors that are running that shit now. And it's like,
Yeah.
I want to go to Six Flags. I want to go to all these places, but it's like, well, I would be just the person that, wouldn't ride any of the rides like the roller coasters. I would ride all the rides on the ground that go really fast.
Oh, I love roller coasters. They're
I've never
amazing.
been on a one that I've never been on one that does a loop.
Yeah, those are amazing.
I'm not getting decapitated. Fuck that.
Oh, come on. That's like it's like
I
one
just
out of every
don't
whatever.
care for it. I'm sorry. It's not something I go like, oh, I'm going to do this. No, I just don't. I'd rather play the games. That's how my grandpa was. My grandpa was the one that would always play like the carnival games. He won the basketball game where you shoot the long shot on the basketball.
That's impressive because they bend the rims on those.
Yeah. He's
They're
just,
bent.
he's
Yeah.
got, for some reason, it's me and my grandpa that have the best ability in the world and is being stupidly good at carnival games. I always went out of a claw machine. I always went on like really dumb, like I won a laptop out of that stackers game where you stack the thing. A
Yeah.
laptop is in my, we talked about this a long time ago, but laptop I still have. But my grandpa's good at that stuff too. You ask him like, hey, can you win me a prize? Like, sure. And you just go up to the thing to the basketball one handed, just throw it in. It's like, how the hell do you do that? I don't know. Dumb ability,
I'm
half-assing
I'm
it.
I'm still super impressed with the claw machine because unless the claws have those black grips on them, dude, it just slips right
Well,
through
now
every
they
time.
make it so that the hand doesn't even clench all the way. So the way you got to do it is when it gets to a certain point, the reason why it hits and rocks back and forth, you got to use that to your advantage. So the point is to get a toy to drop near the hole because it's not going to make it over without the thing like losing its grip. You make it near the hole, and then you get another one to knock it in, and then you get bam.
It's such a scam.
Or you
Such a
just break
scam.
the fucking thing and just reach in and grab it.
Yeah, that sounds better. Cheat the win.
You spend $50, you get a $2 toy.
No, you do no, you come on.
There's
I
no
grew up, dude.
losses.
I'm an 80s child. I grew up in arcades, right? Playing video games, and you play skee ball and you get tickets and you spend like, yeah, $50 and you turn in all your tickets and you get like a $2 prize. Yeah. It's the way of America. America.
Capitalism.
America.
It's capitalism or communism. You pick a road or get out. Do you want to promote your show, promote your links? We've been talking for almost. Okay.
Absolutely. So if you want to check out this guy right here, with my brother on YouTube, everything is at Sith Talkers, like from Star Wars, Sith, right? From Star Wars, Sith Talkers. We do reaction videos, and like I said, it's a lot of Bully Maguire, but we are doing more like Viva La Dirt and just some other ones. So kind of branching out a little bit more. But like I said, hopefully, man, you watch for the banter with me and my brother. That's what I want people to watch, but no one does.
I do.
So Sip Talkers, thank you.
We got to get Steve on this show at some point. I got to ask him about his damn
I don't.
Funko page.
Yeah, I don't know if that. No, he hasn't done YouTube in years. So yeah, he doesn't do that no more. He's Mr. Brokerage guy. He's Mr. NFT brokerage, investing, Bitcoin. He's all about that stuff. He's going to be the guy like in 20 years that is going to retire young, and he's going to have like $1 million in the bank, and his money is going to be like making money. It's called passive. He explains all this stuff to me. He's huge in all that investing stuff. Yeah.
Well, I won't ask that again. Thanks again for listening to this episode of Out of the Blank. Mike, please take us out.
Yeah. Robbie.
No,
Yeah.
no songs. Just may the force be with you always.
Well, I started the podcast singing the song, and now you song.
I don't know. I was frozen.
So
I couldn't tell.
So thanks, Robbie, for making me feel like a piece of shit and
good.
just feel terrible. But
buy another
everyone,
Funko Pop, you rich son of a bitch.
yeah, I'm actually stopped. I'm really chilled out on it. But everyone out there, thanks for listening. Thanks for joining. And somehow, somewhere, some way, may the force be with you always.
You added that part. I like that one. All right. Well, thanks, everybody.